Hey, remember what I said in my Catz video? In 2026, the world has been overwhelmed with indie shows and their peculiar plots. I still stand on that. In 2026, the world has still been overwhelmed by indie shows and their peculiar plots. But recently, a particular show says otherwise. I want to take this time to do a quick review on the pilot for the ever so endearing Street Catz. Street Catz is an indie show created by Game Boy Cat of GB Cat Productions, a self-founded company. He's been around the block since 2020 and has made simple flip-a-clip animation skits. On May 24th, 2022, he would upload a Beatles redraw featuring his OCs. This would be the start of what would soon become Street Catz. Alongside being an animator, Game Boy Cat is also a musician, putting out covers of Beatles songs and even making an album of his own, Cat Sounds. Seems to me that he has a love for cats. I can't blame him. I've actually been following this guy for about a year, especially on his TikTok, where he'd upload little snippets of what would soon to be. What struck me the most was his choice of animation style. Notice anything? He went back. For the youngsters who don't know, Hanna-Barbera was an animation company known for making some of the most iconic shows of the 1960s and ever. Top Cat, Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, The Jetsons, The Secret Scroll Show, Scooby-Doo, and of course Tom and Jerry. Shout out to the Banana Splits. Street Cat's choice of animation breeds nostalgia. It reeks of age in the most pleasant way possible. In 2026, the world has been overwhelmed with the retro revival and the need to go back. The show couldn't have come out in a more perfect time. This show gives the average watcher a sense of familiarity and comfort. Compared to something like, let's say, Hazbin Hotel, the animation is choppy, and a lot of the characters, from a physical standpoint, look identical, anorexic, and stiff. It's not memorable in my opinion. The characters of Street Catz, while they're still in their infancy and as a pilot, are more memorable if anything. We got Rocks, the narcissistic bastard bassist who believes himself to be the leader. Blitz, the bullied innocent drummer. Game, the energetic, clumsy southern vocalist and songwriter. Shank, the irritable but most sane guitarist. And lastly, Russell, the by-the-book police officer who hates the band and everything about them. I like how each character has their own completely different shading of color. They're not just different based on clothing and some facial differences, they're completely unique from the ground up. It makes it easier for the casual watcher to make them out. Brilliant work. The only indie show to do that outside of Street Catz is Digital Circus in my opinion. Now let's get to the pilot itself. Oh, it's only 6 minutes. Whatever, it was still a damn good pilot. The pilot feels like a feel-good, simple demo showcasing each character's general personality. In the pilot, Game is hungry and pleads Shank to drive to a restaurant for a quick bite. Discourse over where they should go begins with Rocks coercing the band to go for fish and chips.
Game loves fish and chips. Huh.
Hey, wait a minute, no I don't.
Game loves fish and chips.
As the drive progresses, the band becomes more and more fidgety. It comes to a crack when Shank starts yelling at the band.
Okay, if you're free, don't shut up and behave. I'm gonna take this bloody car and ram it into a...
This leads to the introduction of Russell, who arrests them for reckless driving, driving with no seatbelt, destruction of public property and resisting arrest, but after searching their car, he discovers 2 bottles of alcohol, thus adding DUI to the list. This then segues into my favorite part of the pilot, the prison break musical scene. Remember what I said in my previous video? I love music. It's one of the most electrifying, soul-crushing, empowering pieces of media one can dive into. It doesn't matter what genre or decade of music you share to me. As long as it slaps, I'm putting it in my library of, according to YouTube Music, 6,000 plus songs. I cannot wait to analyze this song. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm too jitty. This pilot is just so good. Anyways, in the pilot, the band escapes prison via their own instruments. Pretty clever in my opinion. I wonder if that's going to be a future character. The bandmates dig their way out with one of their spare guitars. As they leave, Russell catches them and the pilot ends with them being chased. To be continued. Simple, short, but concise. What you see is what you get. It's a simple Saturday morning cartoon-esque pilot, but excellent in the sense that you instantly know what you'll be in for should you follow the show. The only criticism I have is I wish some of the dialogue was a bit more pronounced and easier to hear, especially with rocks, though I cut a bit of slack considering the accents. I hope the first episode really dives into the band's creative process with their music. It makes me wonder what the bigger picture of the show, what it'll be about overall. I hope for an arc that features the band struggling to make an album. A lot of people say that Stray Cats reminds them of the Beatles. I see more so Josie and the Pussycats meets Big Time Rush and Gorillaz. Also, shout out to this comment. I give this pilot an 8 out of 10. Absolutely stellar. Now, let's get on to my favorite parts of not only the pilot, but the entire show in general. The music. The pilot features the debut song from the band, For the Record. For the Record is a short 2-minute garage rock song with Game on vocals. The song is about the disappointment but expectance in the protagonist's lover's lack of care. While the protagonist is hurt by her lack of love, he isn't gonna let it be the death of him. After all, he didn't really like her either. It's a shockingly catchy and brilliant track that I have never seen before in an indie show. Most indie shows tend to have music, yes, but their songs are often more loud, expressive, Broadway, and dare I say it, pandering. Let's look at a more recent example, the one who's running the show. Compare the two indie show songs. Tell me which one you would rather listen to.
I'm the host, I run the place. Kane, that is my name. Not enthused, just feeling used. Oh, what a goddamn shame!
I can tell you right now that we're through. Baby, what else can I say or do? You never liked me, I know it's true. For the record, I never lied to you.
Congratulations, all of my friends. Public relations are getting a cleanse. Put on your Sunday best because I know we're close to quitting.
I could see your little light shining bright, but little did I know that light would darken my nights. I can tell you right now that we're through.
The answer is obvious. The one who's running the show is, in the most respectful way possible, awkward, borderline uncomfortable to listen to. Me personally, this is not something I'd gladly listen to on a regular basis. If anything, I'd be personally ashamed of myself, to be frank. Not saying you should be ashamed of yourselves if you like this show. If you do, that is perfectly fine and 100% respectable. I'm just simply stating my own personal 2 cents. Me personally, I'd feel as if my man card would be taken away if I were to listen to something as outrageous as the one who's running the show. As with For the Record, it's cute, catchy, something I'd gladly listen to not only by myself, but surrounded as well, if I had any friends. Instead of depending on Broadway-style sounds that most indie shows do, this stands on its own hill and walks on its own boots. It does a sound that no indie show dares to replicate in 2026. Tell me an indie show besides Stray Cats that came out in the 2020s that is doing something like this.
I could see your little light shining bright, but little did I know that light would darken my nights. I can tell you right now that we're through. Baby, what else can I say or do? You never liked me, I know it's true. For the record, I never lied to you.
I give For the Record a 9 out of 10. It's the star of the pilot, and it's an outstanding song not only by itself, but an amazing nod and tribute to the iconic 1960s era sound. All in all, Stray Cats is, to be frank, built different. It's a show that is not following, but marking its own path. I'm completely stoked and excited to see what Gamer Boy Cat does with its product, and I'm definitely going to be following it from here on out. This isn't Digital Circus. This isn't Tasman Hotel. This isn't the Lackadaisy. This isn't Ramshackle. This isn't the Bloody Mary. This is Street Cats. And these kittens are sure to be playing to their own sound. But what do y'all think of Street Cats? Let me know in the comments. I'll be putting links in the description for more info. And until then, fly on.